What's going on, guys? RBG here, bringing you another update on Transformers Rise of the Beast. Thanks largely in part to the stealthy leaks and occasional press event, we've been able to keep a somewhat constant flow of updates to this upcoming project. A couple weeks ago, Hasbro held its first ever Ignite series for investors to display what's to come in the next couple of years. While they did give certain details regarding the premise of this movie and the future of the film franchise going forward, they didn't necessarily give us any details pertaining to the robot roster. That's something that we're desperately waiting to see in full, and until we get that, all we can do is sit on our hands or just speculate. But there was something that was provided at the event that makes you insinuate who will make it into the movie, and that was this promotional art, which you can kind of make out what it is, but due to certain aspects such as the logo, you can't really see everything such as the animal avatars that are obviously the Maximals and Predicons. But thanks to a leak on a Russian retailer site called Wildberries, we have a good idea who these characters are. Not only that, but we also get our first look at Optimus Prime CG render for the movie, which we're gonna go ahead and analyze first. Because when you look at it, there really isn't that much to this render outside of a few things. Like, we kind of already knew that Optimus Prime would look fairly similar to how he did in Bumblebee, which I'm totally fine with. I'm not asking for a major design overhaul or anything because the character wasn't necessarily the focus of that film, and this new Transformers continuity is still in its infancy, so Hasbro is going to keep him looking the same while adding a few alterations to sell new toys. What I will say is that this picture really isn't indicative of what he'll look like throughout the entire movie. As you all know, it's been highly speculated that Optimus Prime will have two alt modes, one being his cav robot truck and a man 8x8 truck form, which if true, he'll most likely obtain it near the middle or tail end of Transformers Rise of the Beast. And this model looks very similar to the robot mode we got for the leaked alt mode toy. But if I were to take a wild guess, I would say that this is his robot mode after transforming from the cab over truck, because he has the big metal visor flap over the windshield. And I'm pleased that they brought this metal plate over the windshield back, because it's very reminiscent of his robot and truck mode from the first three Transformers films. There's just something about those parts that make him look like he has armor above his chest, and it sort of mimics a collarbone. So yeah, I can't wait to see the full body render of this guy to see other little subtle differences he has from his Bumblebee model. I'm assuming that we'll see more bill folders or merch like this that'll feature CG renders of the other robot cast members. Speaking of cast members, we gotta flip this piece of marketing on the other side and talk about these ancient looking glyphs. As mentioned earlier, we got a new promotional art in the form of a poster featuring these avatars, but you couldn't quite make out who was who because of how low res it was and the obstructing logo. Like, even after going out of my way to upscale this thing, I still couldn't tell what exactly I was looking at. But this new merch gives a pretty vivid look at our Beast era alumni. And it looks like there are going to be 10 in all, with the Maximal and Predicon factions both featuring 5 members each. If you remember when the film was first announced, we only got 4 names which only mentioned the Maximals, those being Optimus Primal, Rhinox, Airraiser, and Cheetor, who was mentioned a little later. I initially thought we wouldn't see any other Predacons since this movie's robot cast was already stacked with a hefty roster, which included the likes of the Terracons, Nightbird, and some mystery robot along with Scourge, and that's not even counting the Autobot roster, which will have 5 members. When you take all of those guys and add them up with the possible 10 robots from the Beast Formers, you just know this movie is going to be a pricey one, which is another confirmation of this movie's rumored $200 million budget. Anyway, starting with the Maximals, we got the obvious one with Optimus Primal, who you could clearly see on the promotional poster. Something I absolutely love about this is that the Maximals are featured in bigger frames while the Predacons are in these smaller ones. I'm not sure if this is trying to tell us something, but it's interesting nonetheless. Something else that's interesting is the position of Optimus Primal and this T-Rex, which is most likely Megatron. Depending on how you rotate the picture, they look like they're going up the steps of what looks to be an Aztec pyramid. It's almost as if it's trying to say that there's a race between these two guys to reach whatever this MacGuffin is in the movie. But moving on, we got Dinobot. This dude is one of my faves because he's just badass. Even though he started off as a bad guy, he still carried himself as an honorable warrior compared to the other Predacons. And after defecting over to the Maximals, he proved that he was a good guy. A good guy that went out of his way to get the job done by any means necessary, but he was a good guy nonetheless. I hope they keep those aspects intact, but I'm also hoping that they don't rush the story of him jumping over to the good guys or ultimately sacrificing himself. That story can be really great if executed properly. Like, they can have the tension between him and Megatron build up, and over the course of the later films, we'll slowly see him change for the better. Like, those moments are what made Beast Wars such a compelling series. There was a constant tug of war between both factions, Occasionally there will be internal struggles where the characters butt heads, and it'll ultimately be up to them to make the decision on whose side they want to join. You also had them racing to find new protoforms. Stuff like that is why I hope this film segues into spin-offs for the Beastformers, because if they're gonna continue to fight alongside the Autobots and Decepticons, the movies are gonna be bloated with too many characters who all won't get their moment to shine. Not to mention that classic G1 Transformers and Beastformers have two entirely different gimmicks. The vehicular-based Transformers are meant to hide in plain sight, while the Beast era bots use their utmost to give them more of an advantage in the wildlife. So yeah, we don't need these characters sharing the silver screen in future installments. But moving on, we have what looks to be Rat Trap, who essentially serves as a comic relief character in most iterations. And I am fairly surprised that we could be seeing him in this movie, because he's a giant rat, but it looks like he'll be joining the party. Someone who probably won't be joining the Maximals and Rise of the Beast is Tigatron, because he's nowhere to be found in this art. If you guys remember, he was featured as a weapon for the leaked Optimus Primal toy we got a couple weeks ago. This gave us every reason to believe that he would be in the film, not to mention that the weaponizer gimmick would be cool for the Maximals to have and set them apart from the other factions. But it looks like Tigatron was nothing less than a prop for Optimus Primal to look even cooler. So that's a bit of a bummer. That character has romantical ties with Airazor, who will be making her live screen debut in this movie, and it would have been cool to see how that translated, and we could have seen them fuse into Tigerhawk. But I guess beggars can't be choosers, right? Moving on, we obviously have Rhinox and Cheetor, who were already rumored, so I'm not really going to harp on those two. But the ones I do want to harp on are this spider, who could either be Tarantulas or Black Arachnia, the Pterodactyl, who's most likely Pterosaur, and the Scorpion, who is Scorponok. These three seem like they're gonna be adversaries of Cheetor, Rat Trap, and Airazor. Like, I can see Pterosaur and Airazor in aerial combat, and since these two are on the smaller side, I can see Rat Trap facing off against Scorponok. And this spider bot, who's Tarantulas or Black Arachnia, can go up against Cheetor. Now, I just want to point out that this merchandise isn't necessarily confirming these characters will make it into the movie, but I'll say it's a strong possibility. We'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this confirms the Beast era roster? And what are your thoughts on the CG render for Optimus Prime? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I asked you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers. Sharing really makes a difference. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. As a successful YouTube user, I often get questions asking what I use to get my videos tons of views. And the answer to that is TubeBuddy. This thing has helped me take my channel to the next level in ways I never imagined. It's a browser extension that helps new and experienced YouTubers grow fast and optimize their channels. I've been using this extension for years, and it's constantly getting updated with new features, like the SEO tool that helps me come up with the perfect title, description, and tags to get more people to click on my videos. It even provides you with analytics beside your videos to see how much traffic your video is generating from various social media sites. The extension is absolutely free, but as a special offer, we're giving a 50% discount for channels that have less than 1,000 subscribers that purchase the Pro upgrade. All you have to do is enter in the code RisingStarBuddy. So if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel or taking your content to the next level, download the extension now. You can do so by clicking on this link that'll be provided in the description of this video.